Okay, you guys ready to rock the world? Yes? Yes or yes? It just got brought to my attention that immediately, right now at the beginning of this event, we are having a, what's it called, kind of a solar eclipse. I just looked at it. It's way cool. So it's happening right now because we are going to transform a world starting right now. I'm not kidding. Because we are going to transform a world. Absolutely make that happen for you guys and for everybody. We declared war in 71. And it's still here, worse than ever, in 2016. And so how are we doing now? Okay? So how's Big Joe done for us? What's changed in 52 years? Our cancer industry, the cancer industry is more powerful than ever and going strong. We are no closer to a cure. We put billions of dollars into this. Why is there no cure? I mean, we spent a crap ton of money. We've thrown a lot of money at it, a lot of resources, and yet people are still getting cancer. Why? You got to know the facts. And guys, these are the facts, okay? I want you to look around this room and realize that 1 in 2 men in this room, well, not this room because you're here, okay? But 1 in 2 men in America will be diagnosed with cancer next year, and 1/3 of women. That's pretty high, considering we declared war back in 71. And we lost the battle. We not only lost the battle, we lost the war. Okay? That's what's happened. See, our purpose in this office is to become a natural healthcare standard so we can empower every single person to be at their fullest potential. So I want to tell you guys something, okay? And this is what was on my heart, okay? I've been doing this for 36 years, okay? When I started 36 years ago, I had a vision. And the vision was to take people from the depths of what healthcare, if you want to call it that, and what it is and what it should be. And so I've been preaching from the pulpit for 36 years. Come here, stay here, live here. Don't stop, because it's a never-ending process. See, they have turned this thing we call disease, whether it's cancer or diabetes or heart disease, into an event. Oh, you have the event of cancer. Now we're going to cure it, and now the event is over. You have the event of diabetes, and now you're cured, and the event is over. Okay? Health development is a lifetime process. It's not short term. It's not come here, get cracked, feel better, and leave. That's not what it's about. But my biggest frustration, now currently right now, we have about 400 active patients that are currently coming in. Now sadly, over the course of my 36 years, probably 20,000 people have walked through that door. Why don't we have 20,000 people here? It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But see, it has to start somewhere. And it's starting on the day of an eclipse, because we are eclipsing this crap. And you guys are going to start. I want to make sure I'm making my point today. This is forever. The purpose of these events is supposed to be the icing on the cake for everybody, so you guys have time to fellowship with like-minded people. But see, you're always so busy. You know, we got the ball games, and we've got the parties, and my grandson's bar mitzvah, or whatever, right? We never make time for what's important, which is the fellowship and knowledge of our friends and family and loved ones, which is what we're supposed to be. See, I had a vision, and the vision when we start with this clinic, right? And then what happens? Everybody starts noticing what's happening in that Thornton area. Thornton's changing. And they start looking around. What's changing in Thornton? And then they find out. And then we take over the Denver Metro. Right? And people are changing. And they're looking at the statistics. They're looking at the numbers and going, oh my God, things are changing in Colorado. What is unique about Colorado? And they find out. It's us. It's us. Never me. Never me. It's us. And then we take over the neighboring states. We take over the United States. And we take over the world. There's a big war out there, right? And it's a battle for our minds. And who's winning right now? Is it pharma or is it us? Pharma. They have a lot of money to spend. I don't. So what do? We bring you to events. And you should come to every event, encourage people to come so we can start growing this mission for the community and then for the world. So that's why I do these seminars. People say, why are you doing these seminars? Because it's important. And now this is my family. This is my beautiful this is my wife. She looks better now than she did when we got married. Okay? He's getting uglier. I don't know what happened to that dude. Okay? But these are my grandparents. Okay? And I don't know what happened to me, but they're down here and I'm up here. Some type of a genetic defect or something. I got some weird genetic defect. That's my grandparents. They both died from colorectal cancer. That's my sister. She died from brain cancer. These are my mom's legs. She has skin cancer. That's my mommy right there. She's still here with us, but she's battling and she's fighting. So this is personal for me. This is not just me up here yakking and talking, and this is personal. And it's personal for me when you get cancer, when I see those things happen. So it's not going to happen anymore. So some cancer statistics. Denmark has the highest risk. We rank 7th. Only 18% of cancer patients survive over 20 years. 18%. With the war on cancer raging full, right? And this is our original cancer killer. You guys met Charles in the intro video. So here's what happened. He went out, looked around after he got diagnosed with, well, it ultimately started off in the bones, went to the brain, and he cured his cancer. Sort of. You see, he figured out and started, he was the initiator of this cancer movement within our network. And he figured out a way to change his environment to watch the cancer go away on before and after MRIs. You saw it. It worked. Then you saw the picture of him, right? And there's a video, I'm not going to play it because it kind of hit home when I watched it. I'd probably cry. Because he went in and transforms people's lives. And the cancer came back and he fought it one more time, and the third time it got him. So my point is this. The original cancer killer lost the war on cancer. So what's the war on cancer? Kick its fanny, open the door, and shoot it in the head. So I guess the answer is more chemo, right? Because that's doing the job for us. Now, before I get into this, I want you to realize, has chemotherapy saved people's lives? Absolutely. Has radiation? Yes. Has the conventional cancer killing machine, cancer treatment machine works? Has it helped people? Yeah, it's extend their lives, but at what cost? Right? Maybe the answer is some better and more healthier versions like intravenous vitamin C, which has been known to be just as effective as chemo. Okay? Maybe the treatment using mistletoe treatment, which is another one, or frankincense oils, or all the natural treatments. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is better radiation therapy. Maybe the answer is one of the 11 different surgical procedures to treat cancer. Maybe that's the answer, right? Because the more we pour into things on this war on cancer, as the cancer industry rages on, that's an industry. I mean, why does it keep going? Because they want it to keep going, because they have to, right? Perhaps, just maybe, we need to look at a different perspective. Maybe it's perspective. That's what we need to be dealing with. Maybe we need to ask a better question than Nixon and Biden. Instead of, what are better treatments for cancer? Maybe we need a different perspective, okay? I'll tell you a story about a little old lady, little old man, okay? Now, for those who don't know, in the day, they actually had full-service gas stations. Okay? You drove in, and these people came out, and they pumped your gas for you, they checked your oil, and they washed your windshield for you, right? And so this little man rolls down his window, and the guy comes up, yes, sir, how can I help you? He says, well, would you mind washing my window for me? Because I can't see through it. It's kind of foggy and jacked up. She said, not a problem. He says, quick, wash. And he looks through the window and, come here. He comes over and says, I still can't see through that window. And he says, wait a second, well, let me do this. And he said, step out of the car and wash and clean it outside of the window. The inside of the window. Okay? And he got back in the car and that didn't do it. And so the gas station attendant looks at him and goes, Squirt, 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 squirt. Put those on. And magically, the perspective changed. Maybe it's a change in perspective we had to be looking for, not another treatment. If we change the perception when dealing with cancer, maybe we can come up with a better question. Fair? We want a better question. Because you can't get a right answer to a wrong question. Does that make sense? So what's the best treatment? Well, we've that's tested, tried, and true, not worked. So let's come up with something better. Better questions gives us better answers. So let's look at some perspectives. Treatment outcomes. Surgery. Now, what's the unique part about surgery? All right? When they find the cancer, whatever mechanism they find it, they have to take, now, if you guys envision a cancer tumor in somebody's lung or something, okay, you crack the chest open, what would you picture? A big black ball of something or whatever. It actually looks like normal tissue. So the doctor has to measure and analyze and cut a wide swath. Why? Because of the tentacles. So if they don't cut the swath big enough, the tentacles break off and they enter the bloodstream. And where's the blood? Everywhere. Now you got metastatic problems. So that's why sometimes we have struggles when we're dealing with cancer. Today, their survival rate for all types of cancer is 68%. Is that true? Well, let's look at some of the numbers. Okay? So the truth of the matter is, okay, they call them 5-year survivals. If you make it 5 years, you're considered cured. Okay? That's how they determine that. Now, the number they came up with, 68%, has to do with all the cancer diagnoses in all of the world in the United States. I'm not sure which the number is. Okay? So let's look at the last stage terminal breast cancer. Okay? Let's look at that one. They have stage 4 cancer, and what happens? Okay? In stage 4 cancer, only 5% survive. That means for every 100 people that get diagnosis, only 5 are living after 5 years. Now that's stage 4. Now if you get somebody with a tumor the size of a pea, but even smaller, and you treat that, what's the survival rate of that sucker? A lot higher. So let's put it all in a blender, hit mix, and it comes out 68%. So you get the problem here? So can you rely on the numbers? No. So the 68% is absolutely not true. It's simply, it's misinterpreted and frustrating and simply not true. Okay? So faith over fear. Preventing is our best deal when dealing with cancer. The goal here is empowerment. Now remember this. We are not here to teach you another treatment for cancer, as I've stated multiple times. Okay? That's not what we're trying to do. Okay? Why are we here then? We need to learn what cancer is and what cancer is not. So in doing so, we can make that happen. Now this is a little controversial statement I'm going to say. Cancer is the body doing the right thing at the right time. Okay? The body does not make mistakes. Okay? It knows what you need. All right? Now, for those that have cancer, I apologize to you up front. Okay? Because that sounds horrible to say. But you're going to learn as we go through why I'm making that statement. Okay? That's a tough pill to swallow. All right? So there's new perception. I want you to think about this new hypothesis, if you will. All right? That cancer is a natural wound healing process. If a wound persists and becomes chronic problem, the continuous natural progression will lead you to a cancer mass. All right? I want you to take a look at this. Okay? Anybody ever done this before? Working in your yard, right? You get a bunch of blisters, or you get a job where this is your job. Now, if you do this long enough, what's the next slide going to look like? Right? So this is genetics, right? Is this genetic change? No. Maybe it's good luck. No, this is the body doing the right thing at the right time. Right? Now, if you keep doing it, what's going to happen? You feeling it? This is the natural progression. So so it wasn't caused by genetics or bad luck. So what caused it? The body reacting to the environment we created for it. You following me so far? All right. So first of all, we get in here, cell mutation. Now, that is a good thing. The cell is mutating for a reason. The exposure to the shovel, if you will, in that prior slide. Then we get what's called hyperplasia. Now, hyperplasia, here we go, callus mutation, cell mutate growth. That's the growth of the callus, All right? But if we keep pushing the envelope here, we start getting into abnormal growth. That's when we start developing the purple cells. But still, the body is reacting over time to the environment we created, right? Then what happens? You get an inappropriate spot of cancer, right? And we hope we find it. And then we get invasive cancer when it ends up in the bloodstream, malignant, and spreads and metastasizes. Follow that? So again, the body is just healing itself. Now, why would it keep growing beyond what we call here the hyperplasia and get into all these ugly guys? Because of our environment that we create. Okay, there's our metastatic cancer. So is it bad luck or genetics, or perhaps it was our environment? Right? How many years pass in order to go from here to here? Now watch this. Okay? Now, everybody has cancer, right? Everybody knows that. We all have cancer. The question is, how come some people go from 2 cells to cancer in situ and malignancies and metastatic cancers? All right? So this is 90 days, you have 2 cancer cells. Now watch the progression. 1 year, 16, 256, and so on, so on, so on. And finally, after 8 years, it's doubled 32 times. You can now find it as a mass on an MRI or a palpation or whatever. So it took you guys 8 years, this millions of permutations to create the cancer cell, doubled 32 times. All right? And they finally got detectable. Right? When do you want to find out about it? Right? And down here, 40 double a time. If it multiplies 40 times, it's considered lethal. Okay? Unrecoverable, if you will. All right? So here's the question. You see this, I walk up to a lake and you see these fish all over the lake. What would you ask? What killed you? Are you sure? Wouldn't you say, oh my gosh, look at that. I wonder what killed that duck. Okay? Maybe it was genetics.
No.
5% of cancers are genetic. 5%. And they blame it 100% of the time on genetics. 5%. Okay? So, would you say maybe they need better treatment? That duck needed some better treatment, right? Or maybe, just maybe, what the problem is the environment, okay? But I'm going to change it because you're thinking what environment? The outside environment, right? That created it. It's the inside environment that we need to change. That's what created it beyond into the cancer, into the malignancy, into the metastatic cancer. It's the internal environment we created. Remember, the body's doing the right thing at the right time. Fix what environment? The inside environment. Okay? So that's the environment we got to fix. So the fish in the tank are our body's cells. The tank is our bodies, and we need to clean up the fish tank. We don't have to fix the genetics, right? We need to fix our internal environment. Can we change the external environment? Of course we can. We can stop driving cars, right? We could stop poisoning our food supply. We could stop doing a lot of things that would help our outside environment, but that's not in my wheelhouse. That's for other people's job. My job is to fix your internal environment so we don't have a body that is conducive to growing cancer. Okay? Imagine this environment. Would you like this? Who likes this environment? Raise your hand. Yeah, everybody, right? But imagine if we added this to it. Okay? Maybe a little sugar cubes. Now let's add some more stuff. Maybe some toxic chemicals. Let's add a few more things. Let's do some mercury. Let's just eat a thing of mercury. That's pretty good for us, right? What else? Maybe some cigarette smoke. Maybe some artificial sweeteners. A little Kool-Aid blowing up your brain, right? Low oxygen, trans fats. Do you see the environment we created inside of our own bodies? This is why the body reacts the way it reacts and why cancer is created. So this is from I quoted myself. Once you get smart enough, you can quote yourself, I think. Let's clean up the fish tank, yes? All right. So, characteristics of a healthy cell compared to a sick cancer cell. Okay? Fair enough? So these are all the different pieces, okay? And we're going to break each one of them down. So let's first of all start off with healthy cells versus cancer cells. Healthy cells are a hybrid. What does that mean? Like your car. It can run on gas and it can run on electric, right? Or hybrid cars, right? They go back and forth based upon the environment you create. If you put in fat, it burns fat. If you put in sugar, it burns sugar. And by the way, I want to make sure we understand when I talk sugar, because I want to make sure you're all clear on this, because I got confusion that drives me nuts. Sugar equals carbohydrate. You follow me? So I'm not talking just sugar, we're talking carbs. Okay? And carbs are things that are sugar and things that become sugar. Like you all think sugar is like, I don't drink soda pop, I don't drink candy bars, I don't put white sugar in my coffee, so I don't have any sugar, but I eat bread, I eat grain, I eat rice, I eat pasta. All that is sugar. Fruit is sugar. When I say no sugar, I mean no sugar. Not forever, okay? But the problem is we've created an environment where you're building a cell that wants to use sugar as a fuel source exclusively. So there's no sugar involved here, okay? So because cancer can only run on sugar, exclusively on sugar. That's it. Okay? So this is where I was going to apologize to you, Mary. Okay? Here it is, the Krebs cycle. Sorry, this is like chemistry. Ready? So everybody get ready to take notes. Flip over your paper and get ready to take notes. Here we go. Ready? Fats, carbs, and protein feed into the energy system. Carnitine, beta, and lipoic acid goes through the citric acid cycle this direction. Sugar comes this direction. NAD through NAD dehydrogenates CoQ10, oxygen, ATP. We get 36 gallons of gasoline from the sugar side. Now on the fat side, it goes the other direction. Your fatty acids, adipate, sucrate, erythropoietin, carnitine, magnesium, CoQ10, oxygen, and 36 gallons of gasoline. Everybody read that back to me. Ready? Go. Ew, I didn't like high school chemistry, Dr. A. Me neither. So let's make some energy, all right? We're going to make 36 gallons of gasoline. Got me? So how are we going to do this? Let's make it simple, okay? What is the preferred fuel of the body? Ready? You guys read that? What's that say? Fat. No, fat makes you fat. I can't eat fat. Fat makes me fat. Healthy fat makes you healthy. Damaged fats make you sick. What are damaged fats? Hydrogenated oils, vegetable oils, right? What are the fats you should be consuming? What are the 5 fats? Avocado oil, organic everything, of course, right? What else? Coconut oil, raw nuts and seeds. We got your organic butters and lard, which is great for as long as it comes from organic cow. Okay? What else? What's the last one? I lost it. Oh, olive oil, organic olive oil. Those are the fats should be the mainstay of your diet to run the energy machine. Got it? Now, that's a perfect. What's the dirty fuel? Think about diesel fuel, okay? Kicking dust out, okay? That's going to be your sugars or carbs, okay? And what should you never use as a fuel source? Ever? Protein. And yet, when I ask you guys that question, so what should you use as an energy source? 99% of guys say protein. Okay? Protein creates more poison than sugar does if you use it as an energy source. Protein is us. It's the car. If you drove it to a gas pump and said, I want some fuel, and you went to the fat tank and it was empty because you didn't eat any fat, you go to the carb tank because Dr. A said not to eat sugar. I'm not going to eat any sugar. And there's no sugar. The brain goes, oh, I got to get energy from somewhere. So it takes protein and grinds up the car and puts it in the gas tank. Would that be very effective? No. So what it does, it converts it into sugar. So protein becomes sugar first, and the byproduct is urea, which is poison. So you created bad fuel and the poison to fuel the environment of sugar. So there's your urea byproduct. Got it? So never protein, which means you better not just be eating. I just eat protein for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Dr. A. That's all I eat. That's called the Atkins diet. What killed Dr. Atkins, by the way? His diet. Because eating all he ate was protein. Did he look good in his casket? Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Not because he died, he lost it up to that point. Okay, got it? All right, so what else? So gasoline, diesel fuel, and now we're going to rename these guys so you don't get scared of the Krebs cycle. Okay, carnitine is Carl. We got it? Okay, Bob and Larry is B vitamins and lipoic acid. Got it? And then over here we got Bob and Larry too. They're brothers, they're twin brothers, because that same thing processes protein as fuel because that's get converted into sugar first. Everybody following me so far? You can shake your head yes like this. If you're confused, I can start over. All right, down here we got CoQ10. That's Queen Latifah. Down below, and down low we got Otto. Everybody got them? So if we wanted to process gasoline or crude oil into fuels, what would you do? You'd have to process it, process it through, and then sometimes it turns into gasoline, sometimes it turns into diesel fuel, right? Depending upon what part of the system you use. If you go this direction, you use fat. If you go this direction, you're using carbs. So far, so good? All right. So here's the challenge, okay? Let's make a very small amount of energy, okay? Which your demands are high, agreed? We need high energy. Right, in our culture especially, and that's happening up here in this cycle right here, which is called glycolysis. Okay? So how does this whole thing work? Okay? Oh, by the way, you only get 2 gallons of gasoline. So if you're using carbohydrate only as a fuel source and you're missing nutrients to process to the end, all you get is 2 gallons of gasoline. So you're exhausted all the time, which means you're going to eat more of what? More sugar. And what's your body going to crave? Sugar, because it's the only thing you can do. So it's like you're going, I gotta have that donut. I gotta have some of those candies. I gotta have me a soda pop. not Diet Coke. You need a regular Coke with a high fructose corn syrup, which we'll talk about later. Okay, that's the only process cancer can use, which means you're using dirty fuel, creating a dirty environment inside the body, and you're feeding the machine that all they can use is sugar as an energy source. So far, so good? All right. So, dirty fuel, there it is, our carbs, okay? So, what if Bob and Larry don't show up for work? Remember Bob and Larry down here? Okay? If Bob and Larry don't show up for work, here's what happens. Sorry, Charlie, no 36 APTs, only 2, plus you get a byproduct. Incomplete burning causes inflammation. So, glycolysis, glucose becomes pyruvate. Pyruvate becomes lactic what? Lactic what? Lactic what? Acid. Now you have acid for blood. Okay? You're swimming around in acid. What environment do you think cancer might like to live in? Anybody? Acid. It loves acid. So you've just now created an environment that the body loves, cancer cells love, so the brain's going, should we build hybrid cells or should we be cancer cells? And it starts building cancer. See, the body's doing the right thing at the right time. Okay? And acid's corrosive. To what? To us. I dare you to pour some sulfuric acid on your hand and see what happens. So if you're putting all this acid inside your body, you're corroding your body. And that creates a wound. And the natural process for wound healing, you saw the callus, you saw all that progression all the way through cancer if your environment's that deep. Okay? So we got to stop corrosion. We need B complex. That's Bob. There's the B complex. Why methylated? Because 3/4 of the U.S. population has a defect for processing B vitamins, so it has to be methylated in order for that to happen. Methylated tetrahydrofolate's the main one. We need CoQ10 and lipoic acid. We need Larry and Queen Latifah. Yep. What's that look like? There's your CoQ10 with lipoic acid. By the way, if you look at your sheet right now, we're walking through the supplements right now that make sense that you should be picking up. We've got CoQ10 with lipoic and B complex methylated. And then the next one, okay, is this guy, Carl, which is the fat processing factory, which is acetylcarnitine. Okay, now watch. Okay, on the fat side, the fats go this way, and Carl, or carnitine, will process this to energy. So if you're missing Carl and you eat a lot of fat, will you process the fat? You can't. So fat will make you fat, even healthy fats. So you've got to have carnitine and all the other pieces to the puzzle to process through. Yes? Okay? All right. Now, so we talked about the fuel source. So how do we create a hybrid car? Don't feed it sugar, and it will force the body to make fat-burning cells, right? And cancer can't live with that. Okay, so the healthy cells use oxygen at the very end of that Krebs cycle. Okay, and fat cells do not. Okay, they don't do it. So this fella right here, back in 1924, did we forget about Otto? We did not. Remember his name? Oxygen is Otto, right? Remember he said that in the Krebs cycle processing. So Otto Warburg. The root cause of cancer. This is what his hypothesis was, which tended to be true. The cause of cancer is no longer a mystery. We now know it occurs whenever a cell is denied 60% of its oxygen requirements. Right? The last step in the process is auto, right here. 36 ATP. So all of these guys got to show up, but ultimately auto finishes the process. Oxygen. Yes? Get me so far? But the problem is if auto doesn't show up for work and everybody else does, it still kicks you right back up into glycolysis. And you're back using sugar as an energy source. Even if you don't eat sugar. Because it converts from protein into sugar. The sugar byproduct is urea. You got poison in sugar and acid, right? Corrosive. All making sense so far? All right. You're making cancer cells again if auto doesn't show up for work. Got it? Now I want you to think about this for a second. Is there a strategy by which you could exercise, increase oxygen in a healthy way, and not get enough oxygen in your body? Think about that for a second. Let's talk about it. Okay? So, I'm breathing to get oxygen. Of course, that's simple. Everybody take it. John, take a big deep breath for me. Everybody with me. Come on. Everybody breathe in. Come on, Neil. Breathe. Breathe in. And out. Nice. Oxygen feels good, yeah? And guess what? Just do that. In fact, do this. Everybody do this with me. Ready? We're going to go fast in and out. I'm watching you all, so make sure you do that. Okay, ready? Ready? Here we go. You know, listening? And stop. How do you feel? More energetic. Don't you feel more energy? Because you just processed through the oxygen to generate 36 gallons of gasoline. Are you with me on that? Okay, so we need an Uber to carry oxygen. What's an Uber? A cab, a taxi for all the old folks in the room like me. Okay, but an Uber is something that's going to carry the oxygen. Okay, so we need hemoglobin. B12, vitamin B12 is the fella that works in the factory that makes the Uber called hemoglobin. Follow me? So if he's not in the factory, will you make hemoglobin? No. So you can't make the car that carries the oxygen to take it to the cell so you can generate fuel. Yes? All right. So what else you need? Iron. Okay? What is the fancy name for iron? Heme. Heme. Heme equals iron. Okay? So hemoglobin. Since it's Halloween, why not? Okay? I kept saying this wrong. How do you say this guy's name? Goblin. I just call him a globulin. I couldn't get it right. So it's a goblin. So hemoglobin. So what happens? This guy right here, this is your hemoglobin. On the end of this little guy right here, it's called a red blood cell. You follow what's happening? You breathe in. The oxygen hooks onto these little receptor sites inside of the Uber. He drives up, picks up. There he is coming. He opens up the door. Okay? And then what happens? Picks up oxygen. Then he closes the door, drives him to the energy cell, and we generate fuel. And we burn it completely. And guess what? You created an environment which cancer hates, which is a high oxygen environment. Yes? Yes or yes? Yes. All right, cool. All right, so there it is right there, Mr. Auto. Okay? And we get our 36 ATPs because of auto. Okay? So what are the supplements? Vitamin B, you already got it on your list, B complex. Now, if you are a female, especially if you're menstruating, this is a problem because every month you have a cycle. And what do you lose? Blood. Blood has hemoglobin. Guess what happens? Your oxygen carrying capacity is dropped. So if you feel you're anemic, we have vitamin B12 specifically, and I recommend you do 6 drops a day until the bottle's empty. And that'll crank up your vitamin B12 levels. Okay? Iron glycinate. Why? That's what makes part of the car called hemoglobin. And the last one is your protein meal replacement of whatever variety. Because you got your hemoglobin. Globin is a protein. Okay? Got it? All right. That's the next thing on your list is developing better hemoglobin. Yes? All right. What's the next thing? Alkaline pH. Now, everybody walked in the door today, and y'all should have got a stick. Yes? Okay. I want you to take that sucker right out right now. Okay. If you don't have a stick, raise your hand. Okay. I got to, hey, Claudia, I need some sticks out here. The testing strips is what I'm talking about. Okay. Help me out. We got some here in the middle and one here at the end. So if you don't have a testing strip, keep your hand up till they come back and get you one. Okay, while we're talking here, I want you to swallow. Okay, clear out all your saliva. Got it? Now I want you to take your stick. Okay, we need some over here, Claudia. Over here, one right here. How we doing, Tony? Almost there? Yes? Okay. Swallow, that's why you're swallowing, get that junk out of there, okay? Then you're going to put this in your mouth for 15 seconds. We're going to run the timer. You know that thing from Jeopardy? You put it in your mouth for 15 seconds. Go. All diseases, including cancer, loves an acid environment. We're trying to get to 7.2. That's our magic number, okay? pH scale range 1 to 14. 7.2 is what we want inside of our body, and that's tested through saliva. How do you bring them back to 7.2? Ready? Max Greens capsules. That's going to bring you back to, and the reason I'm using the capsules and not the drink is because you can double down on the dosing very specifically. That gets your pH balance back to 7.2. Got it? So you're going to double the dosing on the bottle. Everybody hear me? Double the dosing on the bottle. So how are you going to help the acid environment inside your body? Max Greens tablets. Whatever the dosing says on the bottle, double it. All right, so moving on. Okay? So a healthy cell hates inflammation. A cancer cell loves an inflammatory environment. Okay? So cancer and inflammation. And remember, it's not inflammation that's bad. This, I don't want to hear me right now. Inflammation is not bad. Inflammation is healthy. If you got a boo-boo in your arm and you see a big red ring around it, guess what that is? That's called local inflammation, which kills the bugs and parasites and things inside that wound. That's good inflammation. What I'm talking about is systemic inflammation. Systemic inflammation is when your immune system thinks you're the bacteria and it attacks you. That's systemic inflammation. Guys, it's like this, okay? It's like your house is completely on fire, right? We got to put the fire out inside of you. How do we do that? Because here's the thing. Inflammation, systemic inflammation, creates all of these environments, including cancer, but also arthritis, diabetes. You got joint pain, guess what? You got systemic inflammation. You got pulmonary difficulty breathing, guess what? Systemic inflammation. Difficulty with brain fog, not necessarily Alzheimer's, what do you need? Systemic inflammation problems. Diabetes, same thing. Neurologic, autoimmune diseases. So what's the solution? Right here. Okay? Oh, there's your cancer. Okay? So what else addition do you have to add to your arsenal? Curcumin and daily defense. Okay? That brings down body inflammation. Okay? All right, what else does cancer absolutely hate? Cancer hates a healthy immune system, and healthy cells love a healthy immune system. Yeah, vitamin D is crucial. And what we have found, statistically speaking, 90% of the U.S. population, or at least our patient population, is vitamin D deficient. Okay? And what's the best way to get vitamin D? Go outside. What are we running into right now? Even with today in our eclipse. Okay? We're losing our sun, and we're getting less and less sun. And by the way, what do we spend most of our time? We spend most of our time outside in the sun or inside under nasty lights? Now, what's interesting, guys, is these lights are actually not the standard. These are actually full spectrum lights for you guys. So you're actually getting some vitamin D benefit from our lights inside of here. And there's your answer right there. Now, here's what it is. Most of the patient tests show the deficiency. Why is it worse than ever before? Because of lack of sunshine, and we're spending all of our time indoors. Okay? Now, why does the vitamin D have a probiotic? And this is to address your question. In order for vitamin D3 to get absorbed, you need a probiotic in it. All right? And most of your vitamin D supplements outside of this office do not have it in it. So it helps the gut absorb, so it binds up and helps to absorb the vitamin D into the body. So the vitamin D with the probiotic is what you want. Now, if we test for it and we find that you're very deficient on vitamin D, we'll do some liquid D to make sure and get your numbers up quickly. Because that's a huge risk factor for cancer, especially the ovarians and your other hormone-based cancers. Okay? So here's your ultimate answer. Okay, CoQ10 with lipoic acid, that's Carl. Remember Carl? Okay, then we got the methylated vitamin B. That's going to be your B vitamins. That's Bob. And then Larry, Bob, and Carl. Okay, to process the fats as fuel source and make sure it's getting to the end game. Okay, step number 2, iron glycinate. The iron glycinate for what? For the heme part of the hemoglobin to carry the oxygen. Okay, all of this is on your sheet. Okay, next thing is your max green capsules. And we talked about dosing already. Double your dosing now, if triple it if you have cancer. Okay, daily defense is the other answer for that as well, as is the curcumin to decrease the body's systemic inflammation. Cool? All right, so last thing, vitamin D with probiotics. So, money's tight, Dr. Ray. That's a lot. I don't have that kind of money. Here's your big three right here. Max Green capsules. Make sure you're getting these, your daily defense, and your vitamin D with probiotics. That's your take home for today if you cannot afford a full. If you can get them all if you can afford it. If you can't, do those three. Yes, ma'am.
If you're taking the vitamin D3 plus probiotics, can you take additional probiotics and not have an issue?
Of course. And remember, use your gut as your answer. If you start getting diarrhea or constipation or nausea or anything like that, and that's with all supplements, always use your stomach as your guide. If you put in some vitamins, you start feeling nauseated, back off on your dosing. See, on all the testing we do to come up with the protocols we teach, okay, we don't, sometimes patients, you need the vitamin inside of you or the nutrient, but it can't get absorbed because there's just not enough surface area. That's why we got to go slower sometimes, and other people can, take a handful, put them in, and do fine. Okay, but make sure you use your stomach as your guide. Watch for diarrhea, constipation, nausea, heaven forbid, vomit. Yes.
So are these considered a protocol that you take until they're gone, or are these considered?
Nope, these are protocol. These are protocol supplements. Remember, everything in the seminar is always protocol driven, temporary, to prop you up a little higher. And always remember, when we don't like to guess, it's better to tell. So the idea is we do the advanced eating, which is anti-inflammatory, and then we do a protocol from either a seminar or from testing. That pushes your body higher, right? Then we do advanced eating and the next testing and pushes your body higher. We keep pushing the body up until we get to the peak, and then what do? Your focus 4, and you're going to core eating where you add back in your healthy grains and healthy fruits. Of course. She's asking if you say them all the time. What you will find, what we have done through our testing over the years is found out the focus 4 are the ones almost every single human being is deficient in. In our office anyway. Maybe it's just unique to Thornton. I don't know. Okay? So those are your focus 4. But you'll find that there's a certain supplement that you're taking, you're going, I think I need this one. Like, for example, the curcumin stuff, I do it in a different form. I do the liquid form. It's easier for my body to tolerate. I do that all the time. Okay, because of the systemic inflammation. Can we agree I put my body under quite a bit of stress? Okay, all right. The last thing it needs is a healthy connection. It needs a great nerve connection. Okay, and we're going to talk about that, which is the most important thing we can do is getting that nerve connection, which is coming after the break. So we made it to the first half. So you guys doing okay? You guys getting some good information? Yes?